Guys, for math today, we're going to go ahead and do some rounding. And if you see back here on the board, I have 5 or more, give it a score, 4 or less, let it rest. You guys might have talked about that last year with Mrs. Gertner, but I just wanted to remind you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over some examples with you guys just to show you what to do, and then you guys get to try it out on your own in your math journal, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and move this camera down. And then I'm going to rotate this here so you can see it and zoom in. Alrighty. It says for each number line, record the number that is halfway between the lower and higher numbers. Then plot a number that is less than the halfway number. Alright, so we have 30 and 40. We need to find out what's halfway. I know that from 30 to 40, you have to jump 10. And half of 10 is 5. So I'm going to add 5 to 35, and it's going to give me 35. 5 to 30 to give me 35. And then plotting a number that's less than, it could be 31, you could do 32. I kind of didn't do very well with my spacing, but any of those numbers would be 31, 32, 33, 34. Those would be in between here, okay? Now, for B, it says 880 and then 890. Again, I know that I only have to do 10 to get me up to 890 from 880. And half of 10 is 5, so I'm going to add that to the ones place to give me 885. And I'm going to go ahead and plot 884. Oh, they just wanted a number that was less than. All right, so down here for problem number 2, we're going to do the number halfway again, but this time they want us to plot a number that's greater than the halfway number. So we have 3,400, 3,500. From 400 to 500, I know I have to go 100 to get me up there. And half of 100 is 50. So I'm going to add 50 to 3,400 to give me 3,450. And I can plot any number that's halfway in between there. So I'm going to go with 3,460. Okay? It's still less than the greatest number, but it's greater than our halfway point. All right, so then our last number here is we have 71,000 and 72,000. I'm going to have to hop 1,000 spaces to get up here, okay? And one way that you can figure that out if you can't just do it in your head is we have 71,000. I'm actually going to take the greater number and we're going to subtract. I'm going to put that one up top. So we know we have to go 1,000, and half of 1,000 is 500. So our halfway number is going to be 71,500. And they want us to plot a number that's greater than that. We'll just go with 71,562. Okay? It's greater than our halfway number, but it's less than our highest number. So if you get a problem that asks you to find the halfway number, if you can do it mentally and then divide that number, I know it takes me 10 hops. Like we said up here, it's 10. And then you divide it by 2 to find the halfway, and that gave us that 5. Or down here, you can subtract it, okay? So you might see a problem like this. You just find that halfway number, and then if they ask you to plot, just make sure you pay attention to if it's less than or greater than, okay? All right, so now we're going to work on rounding some whole numbers. So it says round the numbers in the charts to the places given. So this one's looking for the 10,000s, this one is looking for the 1,000 place. So I'm going to go ahead. I love to draw this little place value chart. The ones, the tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. And I'm going to plug my number in. And you know what? I'm going to use a different color to help it show up for us a little bit better here. We have 36,555. Okay, so first off, they want us to round to the nearest 10,000. And here's my 10,000 right here, is the 3. So then I need to look. We've got a 6. Is the 6 going to give it a score, or is it going to let it rest? And if you remember, 5 or more, give it a score. 4 or less, let it rest. This is greater than 5, so it's going to round up. I'm going to round it to 40,000. So I could even write up here, if it's a 5, you're going to give it a score. It makes it go up. If it's a 4, you're just going to let it rest. It'll stay. Okay? All right, then it wants us to round to the nearest thousand. So I'm going to look at my thousands place, which happens to be a 6, and then there's a 5 next to that. It's 5, so that means I'm going to round up. So we are going to have 37,000. This is going to make the 6 go up to a 7. All right, let's look at our next number here. And I'm going to just make this go down a little further. Okay, we have 61,089. And we want to round to the nearest 10,000. So here's our 10,000 right here. Look at the number next to it. It's a 1. That's less than 4, so we're just going to let it rest. We're not going to give it a score, so it's going to be rounded to 60,000. All right, and then for the thousands place, we're going to look. We've got a 1 and then a 0 there. 0 is less than 4, so we will round it to 61,000. Alrighty, now let's look at our last one here. Use another color. I told you I really like colored pens. 47,959. All right, for the 10,000s place, we've got a 4 in the 10,000 place and a 7 in the thousands. And if we look, 7 is greater than 5, so it's going to give it a score. It's going to round it up to 50,000. All right, and then for the thousands place, we have a 7 in the thousands place, and then there's a 9 next to it, and 9 is greater than 5, so it's going to give that number a score, and we will round that to 48,000. All right, so we're going to go ahead and come down here, and we are going to work on this next one. And again, this isn't in your book. These are just example problems. So I'm going to scroll this up here. I'm going to make a new chart. The ones place, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and plug in my first number. It's 609,909. All right, and they want me to go to the nearest 100,000. I'm going to look right here, and the number that's next to it. It's less than 4, so it'll be rounded to 600,000. Right, then they want us to go to the nearest 10,000, and make sure that you pay attention to where they're asking you to round, because I have some friends before that have looked and they just write down a number really quick, and maybe it was only supposed to be 10,000 instead of the 100,000. So really pay attention to what they're asking you. That way you don't make those little mistakes. But I know this class is going to do a great job of following directions. Okay, so then they want us to go to the nearest 10,000. So right here I have a 0, and then there's a 9 next to it. The 9 is greater than 5, so we're going to give the 0 a score. So it's going to, oops, wrong box. It's going to be rounded to 610,000. Oh, 909. No, yes. Robert's just trying to make it difficult on herself here. Okay, that's rounded to 610,000. Sorry about that. Okay, then our next one is we have 362,557. We're going to start off looking at our 100,000s place, and it's 3 with a 6 next to it. So it's going to give it a score and round it up to 400,000. And then we're going to look at the 10,000 place, which is a 6, and there's a 2 next to it. Going to let it rest. So it'll be rounded to 360,000. All right, and then our last one. Let me use this color here so it shows up. 894,999. Oops, sorry. Okay, for 100,000, there's a 9 next to it. It's going to give it a score. So it'll be rounded up to 900,000. Then if you look at our 10,000 place, there's a 4 next to it. Okay, we're just going to let it rest. So that'll be rounded to 890,000. If you guys have any questions about rounding, let me know. But on your next slide, it will give you your math journal assignment that you're supposed to work on.